And to walk us through these latest developments in the power sector is the former NERC chairman, Sam Amadi, who joins us live via Zoom from Abuja. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So let's look at some of the reasons for this increase. One of them is issue around gas price. Another is centered on the U.S. inflation rate and then Nigerian inflation. But let's look at the Nigerian inflation. Inflation was sometime in January. It was at about 17.7, and then it went higher to about 17.998, and then now it has dropped to 17.38. So one would think that a drop should mean also a drop in electricity tariff, but it looks like it is the other way around. Help us understand this, and then if we have met any of the conditions required for electricity tariff hike.
Well, thank you. First, the tariff can change because of minor reviews, which is controls for changes in inflation, in forex, the cost of gas, in even quantity shrinkage. And this is aggregate. So what that means is that usually plus or minus 5% of these escalators can lead to re-indexing of the tariff. Again, the fact that we've seen a minimal reduction in inflation rate month to month, this last month does not nullify the impact of the other 6-5 months in review. So if it's a minor review, then that means this slight decrease this month will not override the cumulative effect of that increase. Again, this is just one factor, which we know is more than 5% increase from the last time that tariff was indexed to the inflation rate. Now, the cost of gas, the transport cost has not been different. The cost, people would argue that with the slump, you should have, with the shale gas, you should have cost of gas going down, but not so. Quantity is also a major factor here. If the quantity projected for that price has changed dramatically because of shorting, because of wheeling, transmission constraint, or because of problem with production or other factors, it was affected. Now the question is, can the regulator sculpt these changes to minimize their impact on the price? So the IJO's argument around, we have low disposable income, probably we've not seen increase in service quality, we've not seen increase in quantity. They are good argument for the consumer perspective, but that actually means that invariably the cost of production is more than the price is now. The question is, are you going to allow the operator recover all this increase now? Are you going to schedule it for future recovery when the conditions improve and when the quantity
But again, the question, you have raised the question, but the question that Nigerians are raising is, why should they be the one to bear the brunt of all of these challenges within the power sector, especially when you look at the fact that most Nigerians are not even receiving or are not getting this electricity that they have been asked to pay for. Now, there was some sort of sharing formula of electricity some time ago, where if you are in a certain stream or so, you were going to get a certain hours of electricity distribution. But Nigerians, in fact, that is not even the case at the moment. For those who are meant to get 18 hours, I don't think they're getting as much as that. So why should Nigerians bear this brunt, and why should it's more like the egg coming before the chicken or the chicken coming before the egg? Experts in that sector say we need to make money for us to give you power, but Nigerians are saying give us power and then you can talk about making more money.
Well, the answer is very simple. Look, every cost in the sector is borne by the consumer. That's why the regulator has to be the one now upfront, ensuring three things. One, that the operators are not giving any unallowable inefficiency. Actually, talks about inefficiency being dropped at the side of the consumer. The idea of tariff making is that it must be only prudent. Prudent means these are costs that you've done everything possible to make sure they are prudent and relevant. So one can argue that you need to improve the transparency of the tariff structure in the market. The regulator needs to ensure that operators get to work with the consumers and show them the numbers. We need to see why we are paying more. I want to also see something else. It's called incentive regulation. We need to see what the operators discos promise to do because of this increase. So if you're going to increase the tariff, it means that the cost has improved. It also could mean that you are expanding service. It also could mean that you are going to improve some element of the service delivery. So all this cumulatively built up to a case for rate increase. What we are not seeing is that robust engagement and therefore value addition. So I would argue that, look, you need the right kind of price to allow operators to recover money and make investments. But again, you need the operators to be held to a standard of fair, accountable improvement in service delivery, so that consumers have disposition and incentive to pay more, because they can actually explain, either because of redundancy, environmental flooding, we need to relay the lines, we need to upgrade the collapse facilities, or we need to improve. They show us how we have improved. So this sector will continue to have crisis over price because of two factors: lack of accountability and transparency in the pricing, lack of robust operator consumer engagement, which allows the consumers to see through and know why they're paying more, and allows the operators to recover more money from consumers who in the short to long, medium term may not have all the values, but at least they are seeing enough to expect that in the medium to long term, the prices will be able to fall because quantities are increasing and quality is improving.
Well, in Nigeria, most times when things go up, they never come down. We've seen that over and over again. But we'll see how this plays out. Thank you so much for talking to us, the former NERC chairman, Sam Amadi.